Welcome back to the building blocks of life. I'm your boy Chase Quetzalcoatl Calloway, aka Tehuti Hermes Trismegistus, and you are tapping in to the root of the symmetry so you can tune in to the mind of Mercury as we conclude our long form series, our long form format, whatever, long form series, long form format on YGBIV BB. So through this whole series, we now know that spirits and spaces use colorful lights to construct natural simulations like the one that we are experiencing right now. So you, as a space, are no thing. Completely infinite. That's where all knowledge comes from, which means that you as a space are the only one who can know your thing. So only you know where you're coming from anytime you're talking or experiencing or creating any form of awareness that allows you to conduct business with other individuals. So from here, because only you can know your thing, this is where now you know that only you can use a human consciousness to express your thoughts, your feelings, to create a heart that lets you make your art real on earth. Everything that has to do with the human experience is only possible because your no thing is creating something that is allowing it to experience whatever it wants. This is how you use the energy you create by vibrating at a certain frequency to expand the universe for infinity and beyond. And that's why I love you. Your soul is infinitely expansive. Your soul cannot be limited by anyone or anything outside of itself unless you choose to. And then this is where you get your structure. So your body is your structure, that's your earth. Your soul is your emotion, that's your water. And your space is your spirit. That's your God, your observer, watching you choose to experience life based on your conscious awareness and how you want to expand and relate with individuals outside of yourself. So it's all about you using your soul to feel like you are with other souls. And this is why all of us as souls build structures inside the same atmosphere where we can all talk about the same things. And then this is what allows us to relate with one another. So your soul would be completely separate from my soul if both of us did not build structures here on earth. It's only because both of us built structures here on earth that our souls can relate with the same language. We can relate with the same TV shows, the same colors. We can be on the internet. We can be on the metaverse, Metatron's metaverse, right? It's all about metaphysics being made real into physical reality. And now nature is the first matrix that allows all technological matrices to be relatable with the humans that created this technology. So this is why first we're spirits before we create a natural environment where we can share a human experience. And then from there, we can all be humans that identify as white or black or red or yellow or blue or green or violet or brown or whatever colors that then categorize where our consciousness is going to vibrate, as you can see with colorful consciousness. That's the whole point of this series. I'm eradicating all racism. All religious racism must go. Hermes cutting it up, Odin cutting it up, Tehuti cutting it up, Symmetry cutting it up, Chase Clarence Calloway with his triple trip C cutting it up. Now we have nothing. That's the whole point. When I cut up all this demonic logic in the world that's blocking us from seeing God, now we can clearly see God. We have clairvoyance, and now we can have a clear voyage through space and time because we all know where we are coming from. So once a spirit creates a light that separates its space from other spaces, this is white, zero. White is zero because it represents one individual's space's separate circumstances from another individual's spaces. So spiritually, all of us as spaces have nothing. We all have our no thing. We all know where our things are coming from, and our thoughts are things that matter to us, to our ideas of God. That's why we share our thoughts in the universe. We share our thoughts here on the internet. We share our ideas to expand any circumstance that allows us to make our imagination relatable, real earth with others. Red is 1 because all individuals desire to express their individual thoughts and feelings about God or spirituality or creation overall, because that's what we're doing to be aware of what we're using to make life real again anyway. So we're always trying to talk about how we created the circumstance where we can experience creation. But because everyone is doing that from their own space, this is where we get all the infinite individuality of all the religions and then religious warfare overall. So red represents the hot, fiery imagination that inspires every spirit aware of their space, of their idea of God in their space. And if you as a spirit are alone in your idea of God, which we are all alone in our idea of God, then you're going to want to make your idea of God relatable with others, which is again religion. So now you can get 100 gods to all subscribe to the Bible. They can all read the Bible, say that this is the one true God, but all of these 100 gods are going to cherry pick how they want to use the Bible and how they want to use a religion to conduct business with one another. So they are not actually fully following this God, which means that they, as individual gods, are simply using the creations of another God to express their ego how they want to. But then this is all part of them using their soul to feel like they're connected with the egos that are subscribing to the same system that they are. So now this is where you can get a bunch of denominations that all of them say they're different, but they're literally all worshiping the same exact book. They're all worshiping the same exact text. And then you can get 2 different religions that will say they're completely different, but both of their books are worshiping the same exact space, the same exact Yahweh, the same exact Jehovah, the same exact spirit. So this spirit that is claiming to have created everything is using multiple religions based on the wisdom that it stole from Metatron to attack the world at multiple angles. Because Metatron is Mercury, the space that already has been communicating through multiple angles to manage evil in this wild ass spiritual religious warfare. So orange is 2 because all individuals desire to connect their red hot passionate imaginations with others in ways that are friendly, comforting, and inviting. Orange is all about connecting in warm and friendly ways. So yellow is 3 because all individuals desire to happily, enthusiastically, and joyfully communicate their internal to the external so that they can be seen for the star that they truly are. Green is 4 because all individuals desire to use their exuberant communication abilities to build strong, stable, abundant structures that support the space of the creator. Nature simulations, the body, earth, money. Blue is 5 because all individuals desire to die with 5 milli, physical family. Family is about physical reality because you find your family in physical reality. You would not have a 5 milli. You would not have a family, a PHI family. You would not have a physical functional family if you did not build a body inside of an atmosphere outside of your space. So this is why your family is always outside of your space, but the point of your family is that these are spaces that your soul resonates with enough to consistently die with. And this is where we get the whole past lives thing. This is where we get the whole building upon your past lives, building upon your soul, making sure that your earth is always stable based on how you're building upon water that was already relatable, and that it's water you've already been relating with. So this is the idea of family coming right after Earth. It's about blood coming right after Earth, because once we build stability out of connections, we can now create blood that allows us to experience that physical reality. So this is why every physical 5 milli is a family, an organization, so to speak, of families that allow you as an individual to die with other individuals. And by dying in physical reality right now, you are finding your family. And thus, blue is water, because water kills your ego. Your ego is alone, and you had to use the water of this universe to kill your idea of God so you could have a human experience that allows you to find your family. And then this is where you can learn about all of your family's ideas of God. And then this is where all of us as individual spaces are using our souls to shine our egos through our mental mind Merkabas, and now we can make these bodies matter in ways that feel relatable. And thus we are expanding the universe in ways that are creative. And this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we can be consciously aware of how creative we are. And thus, we just keep going, basically. And this is how we level up for infinity and beyond. I mean, I like the word expand. Level up implies that we're always sort of limited by Earth, but the point is we have to create a level that everyone can stand on after we expanded. But there's nothing to expand to until we expand there and then build something. So I mean, that's just how Hermes views it, though, considering Sonic is stolen from Hermes. When we look at how Sonic is blue, all right, and he's transforming through physical realities, that's literally all the energy we're talking about with family. And Sonic, as Hermes, views all of nature as his family, because he views everyone as an indigenous spirit. And then this is where Sonic is a champion of nature in his own Sonic universe, right? And he's employing all of his Hermes energy and his Zoroastrian Doctor Strange ring powers to travel through dimensions at hyper speeds so that he can go Super Saiyan and fight a white supremacist Mason that wants to enslave all the animals to cause climate change and spread horrible genocide. It's very clear that Sonic is just them stealing everything from Hermes and weaponizing it into an atmosphere that traps your imagination without you really knowing about spirituality, or without you really knowing about why these ideas matter or how they apply to you. Because the whole point is then Hermes would want you to know that you use your own mind to travel through simulations. And this is, of course, the whole point of this series. All right, so Sonic being blue, that super speed, he's transforming through physical realities, yet he hates water. That's like the little paradox of him. It's all about family. And when you consider water, now you can see why water allows us to experience our family. If you don't drink enough water, you're going to die and you won't be able to hang out with your family anymore. And I don't care what religion you have. It doesn't matter what your idea of God is. That's what's going to happen to you. So this is how all of us as individual gods have killed our egos with water so that we can have a human experience together. No matter what religion you believe, this is hermetically and naturally how we are creating the circumstance where we can even start to create religions that separate families from other families. So again, you as an infinite individual would be forever alone if you never chose to use your soul to kill your ego so that you can experience this bigger body of water that now shows you reflections of how you want to connect with other individuals. This is then why the universe is a big pool of soulful vibrations that are killing all of our individual frequencies so that our minds can create mental matter that is relatable to one another. So this is why I'm speaking English right now. If I did not choose to kill my individuality and learn a language that my space did not create, then I wouldn't be able to talk to you, right? I'd be alone, and I would be with the family that I built my own languages with. So this is how I, as an infinite individual, am choosing to expand my space and expand the way that my space connects with other spaces by transforming through physical realities where I am killing my ego so I can be aware of other egos. And now my mind can build bodies that matter with other minds. And this is how all of us can connect, because all of us as individual egos have killed ourselves in a universe that allows us to feel like we're saying close enough to the same things. And we feel like we are communicating close enough to what our intention is. And we're able to do this in a grounded, stable way because people aren't just coming out with their own languages. And we're not just changing up how we speak our languages. We have definitions for these words. So each word is like a brick that we can stand on because we clearly defined that energy, right? So this is Masonic practice right here. But again, they stole it all from Mercury because this is just naturally about Hermeticism and how we build worlds that your sonic can transform into anyway. So us as spaces, we have to create worlds before we can experience worlds. And that's why there's infinite worlds that sonic can run into, because there's infinite spaces that are building structures based on how souls feel like connecting with other souls. And sonic, as a soul that can go super fast, he can reach the frequencies that allow him to enter any atmosphere. So then that's me as Chase when I go into a meditative trance, or when I go fast, when I'm fasting. It's all there. That's like the point of them weaponizing go fast. Literally, they just took it for sonic, but they're not teaching you that when you go fast, you'll be Hermes, you'll be Sonic, you can be Chase, you can be Metatron, you can use your Merkaba to experience other atmospheres and experience other worlds, all because your soul chose to raise its vibration outside of this body. And now your mind will follow. And then that's where your mind can be aware of other atmospheres. And then when you want to bring that information back to this atmosphere, because you're not going to take your body to another atmosphere. This is why climate change is happening, because the white supremacist religions that are destroying the environment right now, they have everyone thinking that we need to take our bodies to Mars. They're literally teaching people that it's too late to save Earth. Humans messed it up somehow. Humans just started messing it up in the last 2022 years after a certain religion used a certain banking system to take over everyone's mentality. But it's humans' fault, because fuck all the indigenous humans that came before this time reset. My God. So now humans are supposed to believe that humans are destroying the environment and humans need to leave Earth to go to Mars. So somehow humans need to take the minerals that they've already cultivated on Earth and transform it into metal that lets them fly to a planet where their minds can't breathe. That's backwards. You see how backwards that is? From you going into your own avatar state, or you going into your own sonic state and going fast so that you can travel to different dimensions in your Merkaba. And this is, I taught them all of this. I taught the governments that are running the world all of this already. And they simply stole it and are still weaponizing it against everybody because they don't want you to be happy alone. They don't want you to be happy alone. And it's really sad. It makes me infinitely sad. It makes me infinitely depressed. So depressed, I had to come down here and do something about it. You should be happy alone. When you're happy alone, you'll build your own world that I, as Sonic, can go visit. Now, I can visit you in your heaven because you didn't feel like you need to serve some genocidal maniac to get into their heaven. No. Be happy alone. Then from there, you build your own family, because now you're going to start conducting business with other individuals who are happy alone. Look at that. That's a functional family. This is why family is important. Family is 5. Family is about transformation. And family is all about blue being water and blue being who we choose to die with. And death is sad, but we know that death is cyclical. So my dog died. That's sad, but he chose to die with me and I chose to die with him because we're family. And that's the entire energy of blue. Indigo represents how indigenous spirits go in and reflect upon their infinitely individual imaginations so that they can have sexy six and create the natural simulations that allow them to experience their phi sickle, their physical bodies, and thus control death. And then this is how death becomes life, 5 becomes 6, and now the spaces can manipulate the way that they die through time, space, and matter. Violet is 7 because all individuals desire to create a higher form of consciousness and separate how they have sexy 6 from other individuals by uniquely combining their red hot ego and their cold blue soul. By controlling how light transforms, a spirit can create a colorful consciousness that allows it to express its egotistic fire and soulful water through something that makes sense to other forms of consciousness. And the sense, the thing that makes the most sense for consciousness to communicate through, is what we in the astral realm, we on Mercury, we in Atlantis call a body. And this is then where we get the number 4, the body, supporting number 3, the mind. And then 7, of course, is about you as a mind are conscious of your body based on how it's relating to other bodies that you're creating life with. And then this is how your consciousness is expanding the universe with other bodies. This is how Violet, the conscious 7, uses its thoughtful mind to create an infinite structure full of thoughts. This is what we call the universe. The entire universe is a structure that's full of thoughts, and all of these thoughts are us as conscious 7s being thoughtful about whatever we're thinking about. So whatever you're thinking about is how you're creating the energy to expand the universe right now. And thus, that's going to dictate what you experience. So all of your experiences are going to be the energy that you're creating to expand past where you just were. And this is why you can manifest anything, manifest your destiny, that whole thing. Us as indigenous peoples, we let all the Jews and Christians and we let all the white people come in. We taught them all of our spirituality. We gave them everything we had. We opened up our homes with loving arms just so that they could turn around and say that we're evil because they want to eat all of us and erase our individuality. And now I'm forced to be here speaking English to try and communicate about how deep that is. It's sad. It's very sad. So Indigo 6 is sexual alchemy. Violet 7 is severing consciousness. Brown 8 is the infinite weight of the universal vibration. Brown is 8 because all individuals desire to use their clean consciousness to create beautiful, relatable bodies forever and ever. And creating relatable bodies requires becoming heavy in weight and dirty with earth. This brings us to the final color in Woiji Biv BB. I mean, finally, am I right? I did not expect these videos to be this long, honestly. I just love to share. All right, I'm giving this information out freely because I love you. I love this universe. I love the space that I'm in. I love this world. It's just this white supremacist system that is creating religious fueled racism. These religions are racist. Anyone that believes that we are created by one God is racist because they're erasing all of our past lives. They're erasing our individuality, and they're going to use some kind of science that they made up to tell us who we are. And that's why I, as Chase Clarence Calloway, have been taught for the past 25 years of my life to identify as the 10th color racially in Woiji Biv BB, black. So the only reason that I, as a human being, would identify as the color black is because the people who created this language and this structure are working through their religions and through their banking system and through all of their legality, through all of their laws, through all of their Latin logic to steal me from my space. So then this is where we get all the child abduction, all the slavery that they use to the banking system. They make so much money off of trafficking children overall. It all stems from this erasure, from this religion using colors to erase our individuality and make us identify as a race in the first place. So now, once we identify as a race, we're going to generate energy for the people that are teaching us what this race means. And we're going to fight each other based on how we talk about what we feel like we see in the other person. So now, because white people have been taught to erase indigenous peoples, all the white people in America who see me, they're like, oh, he's black. Oh, he's a nigger. Oh, he's they might just say an Indian, but really most people say he's African American. He's from two places at the same time. We're American. We're from here. So this is how they're erasing our individuality. Literally, the religions that created white people want to act like they were here first. And that's the whole point of them teaching me growing up that my ancestors weren't here first. They objectively taught me that they discovered this world, that the religions that make white people white discovered this world. And that's why they deserve to erase my entire connection to this world, because they're saying they were here first, despite all the infinite proof of how they would not have been able to survive if Quetzalcoatl and his family did not teach them about psychedelics and how to grow food and how to build shelter and how to stabilize themselves. That's the whole point of them running away from their old world. The whole point of Europeans running away from their old world is that they didn't have stability even after Hermes taught them how to be happy alone. So they just weaponized Hermeticism, created a pact of, oh, let's work together to steal land from other people because we hate being alone so much. We're going to weaponize Metatron's math to make money off of men's mentalities. That's the only reason they stole everything from Quetzalcoatl in South America, North America, Central America, and they say they didn't, but they know they did, and they say that that makes them great. And they're just living in constant paradox. They're just like living in a constant paradox. Their desire to be seen as white, as right, is simply coming from a completely egoic space of hating being alone. So they have to steal what us as indigenous peoples already made so that they can teach us that we're not creative. And that's why we're taught energy can't be created or destroyed. Complete lie. Complete lie. It makes no sense. And we've already broken down through colorful consciousness how that makes no sense. You would not be able to experience your energy if you were not creating said energy by vibrating at a certain frequency. Anyone who's teaching you that you don't create energy, they're teaching you that you don't create your own experience because they're a colonizer that does not want you to have a personal relationship with God. But I promise, once you start fasting, once you start getting into your fasting bag, your sonic bag, you're going to realize that you do create the energy that allows you to experience whatever is expiring in front of you. This body is expiring right now, but I'm experiencing this body because I'm putting in the energy that's allowing it to expire. So you see that? So now my body is not expiring as fast as it would because my energy is bringing life to something that would otherwise be dead. So brown represents how every body is connected by a universe because we are all creating light that is bending in on itself and mixing into one. And this is how we can all relate with one another. So the real 8, the real vibration, is all of us feeling like we're one because we've all built bodies inside of the same universe. So this is why the universe is the cosmic weight that makes our minds, whatever we're conscious of, matter. This is why you can find every color in brown. It's showing us that technically any color in existence that you can imagine only matters because of the vibration, the weight that allows us to relate. So once brown becomes dense, dark, and dirty enough, it becomes black. Black, as the ninth color, represents full realization of oneself. White is 0, black is 9. There are 10 colors in Woiji Biv BEB. Just yet again, remember, white is the 0 color because white represents nothing. Black is the number 9 because black represents realizing whatever matters to you in the universe. So then this is where you use your black pupils to realize what weight matters to you in the universe that your mind is waiting in. Black is the color that absorbs all colors. White light reflects color, black light absorbs color. That's why I say that God, in God's essence, is white, and the universe, in the universe's essence, is black. God and the universe are the same thing as ego and soul, coming together to create colorful consciousnesses that can communicate their imaginations into reality through finely physical realities. As spiritual spaces, we all do what I'm talking about right now, internally, so that we can consensually use our soul to create the circumstance where we are able to do what we were doing internally with others externally. And then this is where the external world is going to be an atmosphere that allows us to make our internal world relatable, real eatable in the universe with other individuals. See, God is too white to exist without the universe, because God is too infinite and individual in his imagination. He is alone. God is infinitely creative inside of his imagination, but without any gods outside of his imagination to consume it, it is not made relatable. Now, on the other hand, the universe is too black to exist without God, because the universe is way too emotional and chaotic to have any sense of structure or order without a creator there to control things. Thus, the universe cannot make sense of its space without God. The universe is a consumer of creators. It's too lonely to function alone. So it always has to be all one with other gods so that it has an imagination that it can support. So I hope you can see now how consciousness needs to be synthesized by the sexual indigo alchemy of ego and soul, fire and water, God and universe, man and woman. If God was only conscious of himself, he would be completely alone and in full control of the space around him. If the universe was only conscious of herself, then she would be completely alone and have no sense of order to orchestrate her vibration around. Thus, your space combines the two to give birth to your child of God, human consciousness. Fire is a man, water is the woman, your mind is a child of God. This is giving birth to your child consciousness so that you can be aware of other gods inside of an atmosphere that allows you to feel vibrationally relatable with everyone that you choose to interact with. So this is your spirit giving life to your mind through human colors. So God is your red and white ego. The universe is your blue and brown, ultimately black soul. So black is 9 because it represents how space absorbs all of the light that it creates by projecting outward. So the absorption is a perception. So projection is perception, white is black. When you separate light by projecting out what you want to see, your whiteness, you then perceive your own projection, and that's you absorbing the very light that you just projected out. So you did white and then black. And then this is where your mind can make that a color based on what you communicate. And now you're constantly creating your consciousness. You're constantly updating your consciousness right now by projecting out that whiteness and then perceiving your own whiteness and then being the blackness that can make your whiteness relatable. And then this is you experiencing the energy that comes from vibrating at a certain frequency. So this is ultimately what the soul is. One black hole. Your soul is your individual vibration, and that vibration is both projecting and perceiving the light that it's making matter based on how your spiritual ego is expressing itself at any given point in time. So this is how your subconscious mind works and how you are able to hold on to and build upon memories spiritually before you create a body that allows you to share them like I am doing right now in this universe. So all of the light, all the life, all the information that you ever experience externally is held onto by your soul. And thus, everything that you've ever experienced matters to your soul because you are using your blackness to realize who you were as you are gathering all of that information for yourself. So this is where all of your past life information is. All of your past life wisdom, all of your past life memories are contained inside the body of water, your personal universe that we call a soul. And then we all create one universe that allows our souls to experience whatever our egos are imagining with other egos based on how our minds are communicating through the body. Fire, water, air, earth, and then metal, wood, or blood and flesh. So when I, as Tehuti Hermes Trismegistus, Chase Quetzalcoatl Callaway, aka Enoch the Metatron star, say that your soul is water, this is what I mean. Water is the element that we use to describe how light is able to vibrate at a frequency that allows one space to feel connected with another space. So your soul is the light that you are creating so that your space can feel connected with other spaces. And this reflects physically in water. So now if you don't drink enough water as a human being, your body is going to be dehydrated, dry out, and then die because your heartbeat, no matter how much vibration you put in your body, it won't have enough fluid, it won't have enough water to send that vibration through. Therefore, your soul is not going to be able to relate with this structure enough to actually make this structure matter in a way that allows your mind to continuously build upon the relationships that you are doing right now in this world. So this is why water is essential for making sure that your soul stays connected, not only with itself, but other souls. Okay, so this is what water really is. Water represents how the vibration allows you to hold on to information. And thus, your soul is your infinite memory bank. All of the knowledge, all the information that you've ever gathered that you are right now using to continuously build upon the relationships that you've made real with all the souls that have been your families through past lives. It's pretty awesome. Like, it's very awesome, right? I love nature. I love being indigenous. I love having to be the creator of my own experiences because of, there's no other way. There's no other way. I was alone. I had to be alone before I chose to connect with anyone who taught me that I wasn't alone, or anyone who taught me that I didn't choose to connect with them. And the fact that I remember who I was before choosing to connect inside of a circumstance where people are telling me I'm not the one choosing to connect in there, well, that's where we get confidence, right? So now I, as Chase Clarence Calloway, I have all this confidence because my spirit is confiding in me all these secrets. I have a confidant, God. God's my confidant. But God is simply my spirit, and my spirit connecting with all the other spirits. So all the spirits that build this infinite universe that we are able to use to relate with one another, they're all infinite gods. So every god is a space imagining its own idea of infinity. It's just that the moment you imagine your own idea of infinity, that's your ego. So now you have your own ego, I have my own ego, and your ego is your personal relationship with God. That's why no one in my life as Chase has ever told me to fast. And everyone in my life tells me to stop. Everyone in my life tells me to slow down. Slow down, Sonic. Slow down, Hermes. Stop fasting. Even like the people at school, the people who acted like they supported me, nah. They really just would try to get me to stop fasting in subconscious ways. But I don't even want to get into the, like, I'm going to start getting angry. The point is, I, as an infinite individual, had to choose to take actions on things that no one else told me to do. So other people trying to take credit for my actions are simply colonizers. Those are the crusaders. Those are the religious therapists, the rapists, put some space between therapist, E and R, the religious, the rapists, who want to eat everything that I say, eat everything that I do, eat everything that I create, while claiming that energy can't be created. This is how they are making money off of the horrible genocide of indigenous peoples. It is atrocious, and this is what I'm here to talk about. This is what I was called here to talk about, because indigenous peoples were not causing climate change before this whole new religious banking system stole our land and told us that we don't have consent anymore. We don't have choice anymore. And they told us that we don't matter. But they're telling us that we need to make them matter. And now Black Lives Matter, and I'm supposed to identify as B-Lack, and I'm supposed to make money for them. They've never once given us any form of reparation for making us identify as black. They've never once given us any form of reparation for taking our land, because they're not sorry. This government has never apologized for anything it's done with slavery or the genocide of Native Americans, because these religious families are not sorry. They're going to keep using their religions, and they're going to keep using the math that they stole from Metatron to make money off of genocide, because they believe that they are right people. White people are the right people, that no matter how wrong they are, they're always right, because that was the point of this religion, this monotheistic religion, using Hermeticism, using colors to erase all of our indigenous individuality. So everyone who's been forced to identify as black, we're forced to be in student energy, whereas everyone who's taught that they're white, they get to exercise master energy. Okay? Like, that's the point. This is the slavery of how this religious banking system has weaponized colors, has weaponized Hermeticism against the masses. Whiteness is the master, blackness is the slave. And this is why God is white and the universe is black. God is the master of the universe, and the universe is supposed to serve God. And this is how the white supremacist religions that are using their banks to take over our minds view all of us as indigenous peoples. So all indigenous peoples that are taught to be black, we're taught that we as a universe are meant to serve money. So now money is God. And now the men who have money can play God in our lives. And this is why we're all forced to stay inside. This is why we're all forced to lose our businesses. We're all forced to change our lifestyles. We're all manipulated by money every single day, because this is the vibration of this language. And this is the point of them weaponizing Hermeticism to enslave the minds of humanity. It's really sad. And now you see why I'm making these colorful consciousness videos so long, because I really care about decolonizing the human mind. It's important for all of us to know that we're all infinitely colorful mentally before we build bodies that look like one color. And that's the point of the human experience. So anyone who believes that we were created by one God is fundamentally racist, because they're whitewashing all of our existence. They believe that God, one white man, is using everything to support himself. And then that's where the people who believe that God gave them permission to use money to enslave everyone, the pact with Abraham, go read the covenant with Abraham, the Jewish God is explicitly telling Abraham to use money to enslave people in foreign lands. He explicitly tells Abraham to use money to enslave people in Africa and America and Asia and make them be lack. Take away their freedom with money. Take away their foreskins with money. Take away their connection to their sexuality with money so that you can push the new world order. And this is the religion. This is the origin story for the religious families that are manipulating everything and using their power to teach us that they're bigger victims of a system that they're making us victims of. But yet, every time an indigenous person speaks up about indigenous things, they get cut down. They get silenced, because this is the point of this religion, to erase us as indigenous peoples, to erase our Native American perspective, to take us away from our spirituality and cut us off from our souls so that we stay trapped in a Masonic matrix. So I, as Chase Clarence Calloway, have my own water cycle because I have my own soul. My soul is created by my space connecting with my egoic light frequently enough to make a dense vibration that matters in a way that can generate the energy for me to experience my consciousness through material. Now my consciousness can manipulate this muscle based on how my vibration, my soul, feels about anything I'm thinking about. All because I chose to think enough to where I felt like I should express these thoughts through something that matters. So that was me being born, and now I'm able to sustain this body and constantly expand it based on the same thoughts and feelings and all the alchemy that I was performing that brought me to this reality. So to realize with your real eyes, you must use the blackness of your pupil, your black 9-dimensional energy, to absorb all the light that you are observing. Hence why the pupil of all of our eyes are black. If you look around in this atmosphere, you're going to see that virtually all living organisms have black pupils. It's naturally mandatory for all the reasons I'm saying here. If you want to use your eyes, the windows to your soul, to absorb the light of the universe that you're in, then you're going to have a black pupil because blackness absorbs light. As simple as that. So the 9 is the I. In dissected dialect, literally I is the 9th letter. Because of this reason, I'm saying is symmetry, with nothing being a coincidence and everything. Because we can only realize the lights of life by absorbing them into the black windows of our soul, so that then we can process this information for our subconscious mind to connect with, and now our consciousness can expand and we can ever more so communicate about new things based on what we've previously absorbed into our subconscious minds. And truly, to complete the cycle of life, black as a color is the only color that allows white to actually exist. This is why if these white supremacist Masonic religions wanted to make whiteness matter, they had to create blackness to juxtapose what white is. So socially, white people don't even exist if they themselves did not create black people and use horrible religious genocide and warfare to force us as indigenous individuals to identify as the labels that they've projected into our space. When we look at the sky at night, we can see that all the jumbles of white light stars are only able to be seen by our white light star because we are all inside of one black night sky. So the whiteness of the stars are separate from each other, but the blackness of the sky connects all the separate white stars so that now we can see each other for how we are separate inside of one connected circumstance. So naturally, in physical reality, everything, every star, every body in existence is light particles of water playing out in certain atmospheres based on the frequency at which the spaces that are creating the consciousness, making those materials matter, are vibrating at. So it's all about our conscious frequency. If we as conscious beings are vibrating at a certain frequency, that's going to dictate what matters to us. And this is going to dictate how we experience the body, how we experience Earth overall. So a star is water vibrating at a certain frequency, meaning it looks brighter and thus whiter than the environment it finds itself in. What we call outer space is water vibrating at a lower frequency, meaning it looks darker and thus blacker than the stars that it is supporting. So basically, modern Masonic science states that space absorbs light and stars project light. So to Masons, stars as white light separate spirits. Space as black light connects spirits. White is 0, black is 9. White, the color 0, shows us that one space will always be separate from another space based on awareness. Black, the color 9, shows us that one space will always want to see the uniquely individual and godly expression of spaces outside of itself. But that is only going to be possible if both of those spaces are connected by one body of water. Hence why water is naturally black when you get real deep in there. Black as water allows white as fire to exist. Black creates a natural environment that allows white to be conscious of artificial constructs. Hence why black people generally correlate to the indigenous individuals that create nature, and then white people generally correlate to the Masonic Europeans, the religious families that create their technology to consume nature, and they want to police nature, but they need nature to live in their desires of enjoying eating nature. But they just disrespect the nature that they enslave to support their new world, because they have no respect, they have no honor, and this is why climate change is such a big problem now. So fire as an element is expressed by a space looking to see its imagination and be aware of what it wants to be aware of. Absolutely. But we know that fire cannot exist in space. Fire can only exist in an atmosphere. So this is where fire has to turn into water so that it can experience its fire as air. And this is where you as a spirit know that if you want to make your idea of God real, you have to create a universe where you can experience your idea of God. And by experiencing your idea of God, that in and of itself is you making fire, water, air. And then whatever you're experiencing is going to be the earth that you are relating upon. This is how all universes get made. Straight up. Because the whole point is every universe is a reflection of how you want your internal universe, your internal soul, to feel connected and relate with other souls, with other universes that you know you did not create. So it's all about you losing control so that you can actually communicate with individuals that you don't control. And this is how you know you're having organic relationships. This is how you know that you're having a real relationship with someone. When you can't control them, you know that they're coming from a different space than you. So even though you're both in the same earth, you're both in the same plane of existence, you're not coming from the same space. So you're able to actually relate organically. It's not you talking to yourself. Like when you meditate or go into psychedelic trance to be alone with your space, that's you talking to yourself. That would be you taking your Merkaba to go talk to God, and you would know that you are the God that you've always been talking to. So this is why any religion that wants to trap your attention, they have to weaponize basic Hermetic truths like, oh, everyone has a personal relationship with God. Give us your person. You're gonna relate like this, and then boom, like they have to, they have to say a truth to sell you a lie. Because if they really believed that your relationship with God was personal, they would have just left Mercury alone. They would have not stolen everything that I'm sharing with you in Chase Your Genes right now. And you would already know how to water fast and hermetically be happy alone. So the fact that all this knowledge was stolen and we're in this new world order of 2022 years where everyone is supposed to be trapped in a metaverse that they stole from Metatron because they've fundamentally used their religions to teach everyone that we can't be happy alone, that we are not the gods choosing to have the experiences that allow us to feel like humans, show us that they're only interested in slavery, genocide, and horrible, horrible things that I won't even put words to because we're gonna move on. So fire as an element can be expressed into space because that's how spaces create water, but fire cannot exist in space. Fire needs something to project into if it's going to be able to actually experience whatever information it is putting out. So water as an element provides the environment where fire can actually exist, just like your soul provides the environment where your ego can actually exist. And this is where we get the creation of air, our minds. Now, the environmental atmosphere that water creates so fire can exist is manifested by them combining constantly. This is then how we get all the particles of light that settle out of the air, which we then call Earth. And then from here, we transform these particles into things that we call blood. And the more we can transform these particles into blood consistently, now we can create flesh. So this is now my body, where my entire body is flesh on the outside. That's the 6 right here. We got the simulation. My consciousness is conscious of this 6 of my flesh. Inside of this flesh, I'm using blood to create the next movement based on how I want to transform. But all this blood is made up of earth because I have a bunch of cells, a bunch of earth particles, all the particles that are condensing out of my consciousness, my conscious 3, my chi air Merkaba, bringing rain to the body that allows my brain to receive everything that I want to say. And everything I want to say is an expression of my spirit going through its own fire and water before my mind chooses to make it relatable into this body. So then that's where the fire and water, that's my spirit's ego, that's my spirit's soul, and then that's my space observing what makes sense to express right now. What makes sense for me to connect upon right now. I have infinite thoughts that are unrelatable to all spaces outside of me. I have infinite feelings that are unrelatable, but based on what my mind is consciously aware of in this brain, in this body, that I've allowed myself to be programmed into, what makes sense for me to say right now? And this is how I am expanding the universe. This is how I'm making this video so that we can all expand for infinity and beyond. This is Avatar Alchemy. So naturally, fire needs air to exist. And air is simply the state of water which we breathe. To a fish, the ocean would be air, whereas to us, it's water. So to a fish, the air that we're living off of breathing would feel like space because it's not equipped to handle this atmosphere. Just like we as humans are not able to breathe out in space because our bodies are not able to handle that atmosphere of water. So it's water in different atmospheres. So the point here is, if fire, a spirit's infinitely individual imagination, is going to exist in physical reality, then it requires a balanced atmosphere to express its light into. So this is why God, as fire, creates humans as air to communicate his visions into the universe, water. So this process results in Earth, brown and black bodies vibing forever and ever. Our song will play on and on. Life will never end. And if conscious, life evolves, right? Clearly, life is always dancing. The point of having a heartbeat is that we are dancing our space into existence. If you're not moving something, then you're not making it matter. This is why all forms of matter are vibrating. Okay? All forms of matter are vibrating at a certain frequency to exist. Therefore, we as spaces are creating movement so that we can feel like our imaginations matter. And that in and of itself creates matter. You can check out our Magic Square episodes of the Building Blocks of Life to learn much more about how religious terminology correlates to the elemental elegance of your emotions. You can check out our Magic Square episodes here in the Building Blocks of Life if you want to learn way more about how religious terminology applies to the elements and thus your emotional energy. So my point here about the universe is that all spirits, all spaces have to use blackness to realize their whiteness. Hence why nothing is black and white. That's technically true. In fact, it is true. I mean, it's also wrong. Nothing is nothing. Nothing is nothing. But the moment you say nothing is black or white or black and white, that's technically true because all of us as nothing, all of us as spirits are using blackness to realize whiteness. And from here, we can express any color that we can consciously make up. All observers have to use their vibration to make their frequency matter. All gods have to use their Lucifer to bring rain to and thus communicate with a human consciousness that can make any demon mean something. Whiteness can only exist inside of blackness. White stars can only exist inside of a black universe, a black sky, a black container of water. So whiteness can only exist inside of blackness. Men can only exist inside of women. Fire can only exist inside of water. Individuals can only exist inside of a collective. Psychologically, black is the most interesting color because technically, black can be anything. Black as 9 holds all the colors that brown and white do, but with much, much more weight. Mystery semantically translates to my story, as in the ultimate mystery of the universe is who you are. The deep black pupils of your human eye are mysterious. No one can see what's going on in your head past these black pupils of yours, just like you can't see the objects in a completely pitch black room. So no one can see what's going on in your head past those black pupils of yours, just like you can't physically see the objects in a completely pitch black room. Black is a color that connects to and thus supports the existence of every color imaginable. Since black is the most mysterious color, it can evoke emotions of power, class, luxury, seriousness, and sophistication. In spirits who have a negative association with blackness, which seems to be the entire new world, it can evoke feelings such as fear, aggression, anger, despair, resentment, and overall sadness. And if you really have a negative relationship with blackness, then you very well associate it with the emotions of anger, death, and evil. So again, just the new world, Englishmen, sad. So basically, all the emotions you don't want to see, that's blackness. So we can think of whiteness, the ego, as all the fiery emotions that we want to see, and then blackness, the soul, those are the watery emotions that we don't want to see. So white light, those are the emotions that we want to see. Black light, those are the emotions that we want to ignore. So this is why America is obsessed with ignoring the emotions of black people and focusing on the emotions of white people. It's part of the Hermetic witchcraft that the religious banking system is practicing on everyone that they're enslaving through money. Hence why this Masonic government teaches us to worship the Holocaust as the worst genocide in history, but they never teach us that Hitler's final solution was a much smaller form of the final solution that their banking system was doing to everyone throughout North, South, and Central America. So spaces want to see whiteness and they want to ignore blackness. So spaces want to see whiteness and ignore their blackness because spirits want to see their fire while ignoring their water. Gods want to see their egos while ignoring their souls. The white ego is a positive desire. The black soul is a negative demon. This is all the natural energies that we need to use in order to express ourselves and expand the universe every single day. I say that your ego is positive and your soul is negative because of this. Everything that you relate with your ego is emotions that you feel connected to, emotions that you feel like you want to enjoy and indulge in on a daily basis. This is positive. But to have an ego that you want to connect with means that you as a spirit have a space that you want to separate from. Your spirit can never be separate from your space, but it can feel separate from its soul. This is the point of space creating a structure that allows its soul to go from its internal world, from its own heaven, into the external world, into a hell. This is how the ego can believe that it's actually a physical body instead of knowing that it is a spiritual space. So this is where we have the concept of being lost in lightness, or being lost in whiteness, or being lost in brightness. A spirit can only get lost in the body because they have a soul. But if a spirit does not feel like it has a soul, then that's because that spirit is using the body that allows it to experience something outside of itself to run away from its emotions, to run away from its past lives, to run away from its memories, to run away from the space that it's coming from. That's why it does not want to be aware of its soul, of its past experiences, of the everything that it's building upon. Anyone who believes that they only live once is exactly what I'm talking about here. Everyone like Drake, YOLO, right? Everyone who says you only live once, those are people who are running away from their souls because they are using this body to feel like they've never lived before, which is pretty contradictory considering how complex these bodies are. That's my whole point. As a spirit, you had to use your soul to take on many forms, to even amass the memory intelligence on a metaphysical level to operate a vessel like this. So before we wrap up, one final recap and then the end. The end of, this long form version of Colorful Consciousness. I'll do a bunch of short videos and start disseminating it from this trunk of knowledge here, start branching out in smaller things. But this is the trunk. We're about to hit the end, but one final recap on black and how all the colors lead up to black, I think is going to be required. I want to do it, so let's get in here. So you, as an observer of your space, are no thing. Only you know your thing. So the zero color, the color to separate itself from all other colors, is white. We see from white that all of our circumstances are individual to our space. The first color to express its passionately individual imagination is red. The second color to connect its passionately individual imagination is orange. The third color to communicate its passionately individual imagination is yellow. The fourth color, the color to stabilize its infinitely individual imagination, is green. The fifth color, the color to transform or kill its passionately individual imagination, is blue. The sixth color, the color to create its passionately individual imagination as something one can see, is indigo. The seventh color, the color to consciously be aware of one's passionately individual imagination, is violet. The eighth color, the color to connect one separate form of consciousness to another separate form of consciousness inside of one atmosphere or infinite universe or weight, cosmic waiting room, is 8, brown. And finally, 9, the final color created from all light bending in on itself, is black. Because black is a color used to realize whiteness and make observable separation relatable. And finally, 9, the final color created from all light bending in on itself, is black. Because black is the color that is used to realize whiteness and make observable separation not only possible, but physically real-able, real eatable. So white people like to eat everything that black people create and then say that we're not creative while enslaving us in our own land because we as black people make white people relatable. So now white people whitewash everything they steal from black people because we as black people love white people so much that we create a relatable environment for them to be seen as stars. And we're the ones that are enslaved on their system, looking up to them as they get to be masters of an environment that they're destroying with our energy. So we all have to learn how to take responsibility for our power depending on which side of the color spectrum you've been taught to identify as. So the pupils of your eyes, the windows to your soul, are black because it represents how your 9 dimensional energy, I is number 9 in dissected dialect, your I dimensional energy is the blackness of your soul that allows you to absorb all the lights that you're choosing to connect with. And then this is where you can realize who you are in relationship with the universe that you are observing. Your 9 dimensional energy absorbs light connections, so your 9 dimensional black pupil can realize the real lies. And now you can realize how life is a real lie that is made by us realizing how real the lies that we've been saying are. And then this is where all the lies that we create become our truths. And here we are, fire, water. So first, light is a lie, and then water becomes a truth once it becomes relatable. So white people lie, black people tell the truth. White people use their light to separate from the environment so they can seem higher than others. Black people use their light to connect with the environment so they can actually create a circumstance where everything is working in the first place. So your 9-dimensional energy is your realizing, realize. Life is a real lie, and you realize this with your real eyes. Your black pupils function to absorb the light lies of life and transform them into information that you can process internally on a subconscious level, which then allows your consciousness to expand. This is how water works in real time. This is how memory works in real time. This is how the vibration works in real time. This is how the soul works in real time. Your connection between the external and the internal world is black. Your pupil, right? If you don't have a pupil that's black, you're not able to see the external world and connect it to your internal world. And if people can't look into your eyes, they're not able to feel like they're connecting with your external world when they are communicating from their internal world. They're not going to feel like they're communicating with your internal world when they're communicating from their internal world. That's why looking at people eye to eye allows them to feel like the soul is as close as possible, when we're simply using these bodies to peer as deep into each other as possible. It's just then we always have to know that we're only able to see each other as far as we can see ourselves. That's why I, as an indigenous man, can look into a Jewish man's eyes and see him as an individual, see him as an infinite individual. But that Jewish man would look into my eyes and see me as a servant of his banking system, or as a servant of his idea of the one true God. So now I'm going to give him freedom, but he's going to give me slavery. And this is how the banking system has stolen all of our land as indigenous peoples, because we see Europeans in a way that they don't see us. We give them freedoms that they don't give us. So black is the color that we all as spaces need to use to see spaces outside of ourselves. Otherwise, we would all be alone in our own whiteness, too separate from one another to build anything relatable or vibe in any harmonious familial type fashion. So after black being the 10th color in Woiji BB, it's color 9, but it's the 10th color, with white being the first as 0. All you can do from here is use all this wisdom that I've given you, all this knowledge that I've given you, all this information. Use all of your awareness of light to create your own hermetic heaven, or your own hermetic hell, your hermetic home, your hermetic heart, whatever H, whatever 8, H is number 8 in the alphabet, whatever H8 you decide to generate with your vibration, now you know how you can use the infinite color spectrum of light to make your mind matter in a way that can relate with other minds. And now, no matter what 8, no matter what H you create, it will always be an expression of your infinitely individual ego, your 1, being supported by your spiritual space, your 10. So that's the heaven, the have 10. All right, I just gave you heaven, and hopefully no one is racist anymore. If you just went through these videos, no more racism for you. No more racism. You're in heaven. You know that your hermetic heaven is being shared by you having a human experience. So you know that you have to choose to use your light, your infinite light spectrum, to share how you feel about heaven inside of hell right now. This is hell. Hell is all of us being together in a circumstance where we're not in control of what happens, because your heaven is you being in full control. All right, so now when we're having this human experience here, this is where you get to know that you having your own 10, you having your own heaven, is you having your own peace, because you can control your own 8. You can control your own weight, your own emotions, and thus your own mind. And when you can control your own emotions, you control your own mind, now you're actually creating a colorful consciousness that can expand the universe in ways that allow you to experience higher vibrational forms of energy than you were experiencing before. So if you want to learn how to raise your vibration to experience the energy that God wants you to experience, instead of experiencing all the energy that this demonic world wants you to experience, then hop into our courses at chaseyourgenes.com and come join Always Ascending Academy. In Always Ascending Academy, we are always focused on you ascending as an infinite individual, which means you are always going to be focused on being happy alone. There's no subscribing or getting connected to something outside of yourself and feeling like you need something outside of yourself or just anything that's not spiritual. The whole point is this is actual spirituality. I, as Chase Clarence Calloway, as Symmetry, I care about your actual spirit, your actual space, and you actually having knowledge about how your elements allow you to experience your emotions. Because the fact is, the only reason you're even able to be aware of anything is because you are experiencing your emotions, which means that you had to create the energy that is allowing you to expire right now. So before you fully expire, before you die, hop into chaseyourgenes.com and learn how you can use the energy in this universe to create a heaven that allows you to conduct business in ever more infinite ways. And also, before we go, I moved out here to LA about 2 years ago, and I started going to this clinic, this marijuana dispensary, where it's very awesome. It's a nice clean clinic. They've always been friendly. And I started going there because this girl that I became a roommate with and I met in college, she took me there. So she'd been going there longer than I have. And I'm telling this story just to share how powerful racism is and what racism really is, which is exercising one's power over someone else based on the prejudice of color. Because I had been a regular at this clinic. I have developed friends here. I have a lot of fun, good relationships with employees at this place. But I just recently, in the past month, got banned permanently because their machines would not take my card. And for some reason, the person who was checking me out was a white man I'd never seen before. So this white man just got hired by a clinic that I developed relationships in for 2 years already. And it wouldn't take my card for whatever reason. The machines wouldn't take my card, but he told me people get upset about it. The machines wouldn't take my roommate's card. So I ended up just buying way less than what we wanted to buy with cash, and we left. It was a fine interaction. It was perfectly okay. I came back, and it turns out that she and I were banned because he said that we acted in ways that made him not want us to be back there anymore. So now I'm talking to the employees that know me. I'm talking to the people that I had already been previously relating with. They're like, yeah, we don't know. Like, we'd love to hear your side of the story because he was so upset. He did this. He just wanted to ban you guys. So you guys are banned. Sorry. And I told them okay, well, the machines failed. He wouldn't take our money. He refused to take our money. And I had to then give him cash because, again, it wasn't his fault, right? He said the machines were failing and he said it wasn't our fault. But now all of a sudden it became our fault because we're permanently banned because he chose to ban us after that. And I told them that we made jokes. Nothing negative happened in our interaction. So I have no idea what he could have said. And they were just okay, sorry, bro. We know, you're cool. We were just wondering, we had no idea how he could have even, thought that things were a problem. But he said that, they were upset. So maybe here, how about this? We'll unban you. But your friend, she's going to have to stay banned because the only way that she can get unbanned is if you talk to the person who banned her directly. I didn't realize this contradiction back then, But here's the contradiction, right? These two white dudes, they fist bump me. They're like, sorry, bro, you can come in. So sorry. But if you want to come talk to Daniel, that's the name of the guy who banned me. If you want to come talk to Daniel, you'll have to come in on Saturday. And I was like, what? Like, we shouldn't even have to do that. But you know what? Maybe I will. So I got unbanned. I went in. I bought my stuff, which I was only able to do because I was unbanned. And here's the contradiction, right? They unbanned me, but they said that my friend could only be unbanned by the person who banned her. But they unbanned me, so that's not true. The security guard unbanned me. That's why then I was able to buy stuff, and they fist bumped me. And then they told me that I should come back, maybe not use card, because that's like the jokes they made. They're like, okay, if it was because of the card machines, when you come back, bro, like just come with cash and stuff. So they intentionally let me back with the idea that I would be a regular customer again. So a few days go by, and she and I go back there on Saturday. And I go back on Saturday. She doesn't come in with me because she's still banned. But with me being unbanned, I figure, okay, well, I'll pick up some plants. I'll pick up the medicine, the medicinal herbs that we want, and I will talk to Daniel. So I get in, new security guard, he scans me in. He's all big, buff. He's got the Hulk on his car. He was like making jokes with me about superheroes and stuff, having the Hulk on his car. And when I go in, I talk to the girl. She's saying like, oh, I love your colors. You know, what have you got going on with your fashion and stuff? We started talking about fashion and clothes. And I see to the left that Daniel is there. The white dude who just started working, who banned me, is there. But he's avoiding complete eye contact with me. He does not want to look at me at all. He's staying very far away. So when I go to buy everything that I'm about to buy, the girl is trying to scan my ID. She's like, oh, wait, hold on. It's not working. She goes to the security guard. They're talking for minutes. I'm looking at Daniel, but he's super far away from me. Like, this employee, this dude who just started working there does not want to talk to me. He's completely avoiding me as hard as he can. And I'm like, this is weird. And then the security guard comes up with his muscles and stuff. He's like, hey, bro, sorry, you're banned, so you're going to have to leave. And I tried to explain to him, like, whoa, hold up, but I was just unbanned. I just bought stuff a few days ago. And he's like, no, but the system says you're banned. Sorry, here, come out. So then I had to leave. And it's annoying because, yeah, the dude who banned me is right there refusing to talk to me, refusing to make any kind of eye contact with me. And I was the only person in the clinic at that time. So the security guard pulls me around, and then he's telling me that I'm banned. I'm not allowed to come back. I'm explaining to him how I was banned by that employee because the machines didn't work, but I got unbanned and I bought my stuff. But the security guard was like, well, if you're unbanned, the machine would say so. So I called Daniel over, right? I'm like, hey, Daniel, can you come here, please? He comes over. All right, so the man who banned me comes over, and I ask him, I go, hey, Daniel, I was told that you're the person who banned me and that I would have to have you unban me, but I already got unbanned. But I was told that you had to unban my friend. So, can you unban us? And he explicitly said, I did not ban you. And he did it like with this face and stuff. I didn't ban you, so I can't unban you, and I can't help you. And I'm like, well, hold up, but Daniel, the people you work with explicitly told me that you are the person who banned me from being able to come back. And I was unbanned. And he said, I didn't unban you, I can't unban you. But if you were unbanned, the system would say so. So at that point, in my head, I'm thinking like, how did I hurt you? Like how did I hurt this white boy? I don't understand. Like, he's acting like I personally came in and beat him up, because the way that the employees were talking, they said that he came up and showed them the footage, and they refused to tell me the story, but clearly he made up some kind of story that inspired them to cut me and my roommate out of a clinic that we've been very loyal to for years now. And he just gets to tell me, no, I didn't ban you, so I can't unban you. And if you were unbanned, the system would say so. So the security guard, he's like, you need to leave. And Daniel goes. He just goes. That's it. That's it. He won't talk to me anymore. And I'm told to go. Like, the security guard is about to escort me out. He steps out from behind the desk with his muscles and shit. He's shorter than me, but like all big and stuff. So I'm forced to leave. It turns out I'm banned again. I couldn't talk. When I went in to talk to Daniel about being banned, he told me that he's not the one who banned me, so we can't be unbanned. But if we were unbanned, the system would say so. So we're just banned, but no one banned us. So the next day, I call. Because the security guard, he was like, hey, thank you for being so calm and cool about this. If you really need help with this, just come back to the clinic because I'm new. Talk to the security guard who unbanned you. So this is what white people do, by the way. They tell you to do something that makes you look worse later. Like somehow, like these white people told me I needed to come back and talk to the man who banned me just so I could waste my time being banned again and then being cut out and being told that I wasn't banned at all. The person who banned me told me that he did not ban me, so I'm not banned at all, but I am banned and the system says so. But the system isn't telling him who banned me. I'm just banned. But then get this. The next day, because that happened Saturday, the next day I call the clinic because I'm trying to ask, hey, is the security guard that unbanned me working? All right, I know his name. I'm like asking for the security guard who unbanned me, but the person who picks up is basically some employee that Daniel is talking to. So whatever Daniel's doing, he's like spreading a story to work to cut me out of this place that I've been attending for years now. It's so sad. This is so sad how white people work to cut us out of our own businesses, to cut us out of our own land. All because they want to lie to make themselves more comfortable. It makes me it's so sad. Because literally I call and the person on the phone is like, oh yeah, wait, who are you? Like, you want to, let me look you up. Oh yeah, you got banned by Daniel. So the person on the phone explicitly told me that Daniel, the man who told me the day before that he did not ban me, is the one who banned me. The system is telling him. So that's 3 employees who are all telling me Daniel banned me. But then when I go to talk to Daniel, because they said, go talk to him face to face like a man, Daniel gets to lie to my face and still have his way. So somehow the person on the phone says I'm banned by Daniel. But then when I call and I'm like, wait, I was just there yesterday because I was told I needed to talk to Daniel about being banned because I was unbanned. But he said he didn't ban me. And the person on the phone was like, well, no, Daniel banned you. And if you were unbanned, then the system would say so. And I'm like, but I have a receipt that shows that I purchased stuff after I was banned. And it would not be possible for me to purchase anything after I was banned if I was not unbanned. But then the dude on the phone, he started getting angry at me. He started, like, it was insane. He started saying like, well, no, like, we've already been through this. Like, you're with the crazy girl and Daniel banned you because he doesn't like your energy. He doesn't want you in his workplace. So this white dude who comes into the clinic, who, by the way, when I was asking him about the weed, he said he doesn't smoke this stuff. So he's a guy who doesn't smoke, who just started working at a clinic, who cut me and my roommate out because the technology wouldn't work. And somehow in the conversation, he said it's not our fault, but then it is our fault. And then even when I go to talk to him about why he banned me, he can't even tell me he banned me, but he will tell me that I'm banned again and that I was never unbanned, but that the system won't tell him that it's him who banned me. I have to talk to someone else, and someone else has to look at the same computer that he was looking at to tell me that he was the one who banned me when he himself said that he didn't do it, but he can't do it. He can't unban me. And so this is my experience as a black man. All right. There's infinite experiences of black people in America being racially targeted by white people like this Daniel person. And the system supports it because The institutions that make America America are founded on the white supremacist ideals of targeting black people. America itself was created by Jewish corporations targeting Native Americans. So now they call themselves white, they call us black, and now they use the banking system to make money off of stealing our plants and selling them back to us. Because I, as Symmetry, as Quetzalcoatl, as Chase Clarence Calloway, should be able to grow my own plants in my own home as an indigenous man. The only reason this white boy can stop me from being able to smoke plants is because a white supremacist government gave white men the power to steal our nature and sell it back to us, to steal our time and sell it back to us, to steal our freedom and sell it back to us, to steal our families and sell them back to us, to steal our knowledge and sell it back to us, to steal all of our information and sell it back to us. That's all this white supremacist banking system has done. And so it's just so sad because whatever, the universe, spirits work through Daniel to remind me of that. I clearly was getting really comfortable in a clinic that was white supremacist. And this is the issue with black people and white people. We as black people view white people in a way that white people don't view us. We as black people view white people as creators. We're like, oh, there's something to be supported. White people view us as consumers. They view us as something to eat and to cut us out. So now white people can project all their issues onto us. To be like real, Daniel looks like the standard school shooter. Now, I grew up with kids who look like that. So I know as a black person, I don't judge kids who just look like school shooters. I grew up with kids like that. But those kids judge me and they don't know that I'm actually Quetzalcoatl. They don't know I'm actually Symmetry. They don't know my space I'm coming from. They are the white supremacists who want to tell me who I am based on them not being comfortable with their own energy. So now this Daniel guy, because he's not comfortable with his own energy, he gets to tell the entire workplace and everyone that I used to be cool with, but I guess they're like changing employees or whatever's going on. He gets to make up the narrative that I'm bad energy now. So now he gets to cut me out of the clinic that I have been so loyal to for so long. All because he, as a white man, desires to practice his own ethnic cleansing of the environment. But he, as a white man, they as white people would not even be able to cultivate cannabis if they did not steal everything from Native Americans that taught them how to farm. If we as Native Americans did not teach white people how to grow plants, they would not be able to make money stealing our land from us and selling us back what we were already doing for free. So, whatever. As we can see in America, the whole energy of blackness is that being black is hard, because when you're black, you're a victim of the white people who have it easy because they have the power to do what they want. And that's how deep we are in this game, where white people have the power to do what they want because they lie. And black people are responsible for upholding that power. And now we get to realize who we are. Great. Now we get to absorb the projections of others and figure out, like, I had to be here like, oh wait, but do I have bad energy? This guy says that Daniel says I have bad energy and that I need to be cut out. Oh no, I feel bad about myself because someone told me I have bad energy. That's what they want me to feel. That's what I'm supposed to feel. But obviously, based on where I'm coming from, I know that my energy is the cleanest energy in existence. The cleanest energy. So any religious white supremacist who wants to say that I have bad energy is obviously bringing bad energy into the space that they want to control. That's it. That's it. And it's so wild because when I was leaving, I heard him talking shit about me to the girl who was about to sell me stuff. Like, he was literally like, and that's why you don't mess with me. That dude, like, he was literally, I heard him talking like that. And I'm like, what? And it made me so sad. I wanted to cry. I mean, my room, like, she got super upset. Like, clear, like, anger was around. Like, to be banned from a place that you've been loyal to is infinitely upsetting. And this is the racism that white supremacist religions are enacting to remove black people from their homes. So now all of us as black people are supposed to be lack everything that we've given to white people. So we gave white people cannabis, but we're supposed to be lack it. Now white people can throw us in prison and take our time because we have plants that they want to police. This racism, this religious racism is so deep, it hurts. And it proves to me infinitely that we are not one God. I am an individual God choosing to connect with other gods. Because obviously, if we were one God, we would get along way better. It's literally the same exact religious families that say that we're one God that bring racism into our homes. If we were one God, then you would care about us. You would get along with us. You wouldn't be working to erase us and cannibalize us and consume our creations while cutting us out of our own business. I hope we can all heal, level up every day. And I hope this series has been helpful for all of us. I hope this helps everybody learn how to not identify racially as colors. And we can now see how the religions that stole all the wisdom from Mercury are using their light supremacist Latin logic languages to erase our indigenous individuality. The faster we realize that, the sooner we can get in touch with our God. Now we can all use this language that was created to erase us to further express how we can't be erased. And hey, life will get better. We'll keep growing. Hopefully the universe gets me connected to a clinic that isn't racist. Hopefully I can get connected to spaces that support me and don't cannibalize me and then cut me out of the conversation. Hopefully I can move into a different atmosphere where I'm not constantly being cut down and suppressed and silenced by white supremacist systems that need to steal everything they can from me while lying about it. I'm in the ultimate hell here. Yeah, this is the shit that makes me hate being black. And that's the point of this witchcraft. Like, we're supposed to love being white and hate being black. And it's all part of the ego versus the soul. And it's part of like light versus weight. And whatever. I know who I am. I will use the energy that I create to expand into a better circumstance where white supremacists can't lie to cut me out of the conversation, and they can't lie to consume my creations, and they can't lie to steal everything from me while telling me that I'm not me. Yeah, this spiritual warfare is insane. So this is Colorful Consciousness. All right, racism sucks. Racism is not fun. Racism is not okay. God does not support racism. God does not fuck with racism. And religions are inherently racist. So, I've been your psychedelic psychopomp, Chase Clarence Calloway. Hopefully we can get some social change because, there you go. We as indigenous peoples should not be forced to buy plants in our own homes when we are growing these plants freely before the banking system that invaded wanted to police how we connect with one another. So this is a simple issue of us as humans dealing with the penis police. That's why we all get forcibly circumcised by the same exact religions that steal our plants, because they're the penis police and they want to police how we connect with one another, and they want to police nature because they want to consume everything that we create. And then they're doing this underneath a religion that says we were all created by one God, and that one God gave them permission to use money to enslave all of us in the covenant. Man, so much love to you. I'm out of here. I really, really, really hope I can expand my mind into an atmosphere where I don't experience racism like this anymore. And where white supremacist men who lie to express their negative energy don't have the power to do what they do anymore, because that's why climate change is a problem. Much love. Peace out. Yeah.